Can I have a little space?
Would you stop being so...
Hey, Trip Kramer here from tripadvice.com. And right now I'm sitting next to a very good friend of mine and an excellent dating coach. His name is Jonathon Aslay. And he is a dating coach for women over 40, is that right?
Mm-hmm. That's
now, that's not the reason why I'm having him as a guest today. I'm actually having him as a guest because he is a divorced man with kids, and he has done a ton of dating after his divorce. So he knows a thing or two. He's actually one of my mentors. He gives me advice all the time. So he knows what he's talking about, and I want to thank you for being here and sharing some intimate stuff we'll be talking about today. And it's cool that you're going to be sharing it with some of these guys. So
no, I appreciate the opportunity. I think divorce is something that doesn't get talked about enough in the dating realm. So even having this chance to talk to your community is really great. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. But I know for you who's watching right now, if you're watching this video, I'm guessing you're divorced. By the way, if you're watching this video and you've never even been married before, but you're just curious, stick around because there's a lot of great information here. And yeah, maybe not all of it's going to apply to you, but I always say you should be watching these videos anyways because there might be a nugget or two that you'll take away and it could be something that can help. So this is not just solely for you if you are divorced, but I know probably a majority of you who are watching are divorced, and we're going to be going over some really good stuff today so you can learn how to move forward from the divorce or the separation, which we'll also be talking about, and be able to get back in the dating scene.
Let me add though, because you could also be dating a divorced person. So you might not have never been married, but you could be dating a divorced person. I think we'll talk about that.
Okay,
as well.
Cool. We'll touch upon that. All right, first, Jonathon, let's talk about your story. Maybe, give the guy who's watching right now a little bit of background on your divorce, if you want to get even detailed of like why it happened.
No, let's not go there.
Okay, maybe not there. But at least we can get into it, and maybe you can share what it was like going through it, and then some of your thoughts and your concerns and your worries when you were getting divorced and thinking like, well, how am I going to meet women again? How am I going to get back into the dating scene? I have friends who are now at that point where there's some divorces going on, and they're saying to me like, what am I going to do? How am I going to date again? It gets pretty scary. So maybe you can share your story.
And I appreciate that. And I will say this as far as my divorce. Like a lot of couples, we just kind of started drifting apart, and we didn't know how to bring it back together. And the more we drifted apart, the more of a wedge was between us. And so when we chose to get a divorce, that was a tough thing. I think people underestimate the emotional impact divorce has on you. And we always talk about the financial impact and the disposition of your home and all that kind of stuff, but I'm talking about the real emotional effects. And guys, I could go on and on about this for the entire show, but let's talk about dating a bit. But I will tell you personally, there's no way to prepare for it. Even this video is going to only give you a smidge of what really happens on the inside. So just know this, you're not alone. There are lots of guys out there. Don't be afraid to reach out to other guys for help. Okay, and I really mean that because your compadres, those people around you, the people either been there or even your good friends are going to be your greatest source of strength. So please avail yourself if you're going through one. Okay.
So basically you're saying don't just strand yourself and put yourself alone, but try to have a support system around you. Whether it be guy friends or...
don't have a stiff upper chin and saying, I'll do this on my own. Reach out to people. Don't do this by yourself. And if you don't have friends that have gone through it, then reach out to people that have gone through this because it's nothing like you've ever experienced before.
Are there support groups?
Oh, there's tons of support
there's
groups.
like AA and things like that.
There's Divorce Anonymous. I don't think there's that. Well, no, but there's all kinds of support groups, out there. But you have to check in your local community. And it's just men's groups, that sort of thing.
Cool.
And this is a great support group. You've got my good friend, Trip right here, and he's a great support to all you guys out there dating. And I know when I went through my divorce, like literally the first thing I did was I went online and started dating.
Now, how soon after your divorce were you doing that?
I think if I filed for a divorce on a Thursday, I was on Saturday night.
Wow.
Well, because I was in an unhappy marriage.
Yeah.
I was in an unhappy marriage. We literally lived in separate bedrooms. So just going out there dating was just a relief from this being repressed for so long. So, and guys, let me just tell you something, and it's been a little while since I've divorced, but, I thought online dating was real easy. You just punch in exactly what you want, 5'5" to 5'8", blonde hair, blue eyes, whatever, wherever she lived, that sort of thing. And someone would magically appear. And sure enough, they did. And I'll never.
I think you were going that route.
No, they really did. They all just no, because women were popping up left and right. You know what I mean? This was before Bumble and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But I'll never forget my first date. Fantastic lady. We had a great time. We had fun. There was real great connection. But the date ended and something wasn't right.
Okay.
So sure enough, a few days later, I connect with another woman online. We're talking this and that. We set up a date. We get together. Great date, wonderful girl, something wasn't right.
Okay.
Went on another one. In 1 year, I had over 100 internet dates.
Wow.
And
That's
I realized something wasn't right was me.
How many dates is that?
No, hear what I just said. Okay. Something wasn't right was me.
Yes.
I wasn't ready for a relationship. I certainly was ready for the basics of, the short courtship, having sex, but that was as far as it could go. Emotionally, I wasn't ready to be dating.
So do you think that the guy who's recently divorced should wait? And if so, how long?
I don't want to set any rules, but I will say to you, it takes you a good 2 years to unravel the tapestry of your old life and to reintegrate into your own life. Okay? So let me just say that again. You're unraveling this tapestry of your old life where you were a we, and now you're coming back to your me, to your I, to your sovereignty. And take some real time to do that. Don't be naive here and think you can just go into another relationship and things will all be better.
Yeah.
You've got to do inner work. And for those of you who aren't familiar, I'm talking about personal growth work. And you can start with Tony Robbins or Wayne Dyer just to get introduced to it. And then if you start going deeper and deeper, but this is all about healing within yourself.
Yeah. Because at this point, depending, but let's just say you've been in a marriage for at minimum a couple years, which means you've been dating her for a couple years.
Yeah.
And that's just the minimum. So it's possible you've been in a marriage for maybe 20 years. So there's this identity that you don't really have, because your identity is, well, I'm a father or I'm a husband, or you're very attached to the connection to the people you were once with in your family. And now what it sounds like is you're going through this whole new process of being like, well, who am I? Like, who am I on my own?
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's what you're
And by the way,
talking
this
about.
is true of people just in short, in relationships too. For those of you that aren't married, have never been married, that's the same thing for you too. You could have been in a 3, 4, 5, 6, 7-year relationship. You're unraveling that and coming back to your own.
Right. Yeah, it doesn't even matter if you're married or not. It's just a breakup of some sort.
So it's no different. With marriage, well, let me backtrack. With marriage, there is a big difference. It's a legal contract.
Right.
And if there's children involved or there's money issues, this is a very complicated thing. This isn't something that you can just wave a magic wand and it's going to be fine.
Right. There's a process.
Yes, exactly. So, but from a dating realm, I was just out there dating, having a good time. And I want to tell you something, being divorced is actually a huge badge of honor, because women are on some level attracted to men who are divorced.
Okay, why is that?
Okay,
I have some ideas, but
okay, I'm going to give you an example, and this is kind of not a crude example, but I'll never forget. I was about 42 years old, had just been divorced a year or two, and I went to a party where a friend of mine who was a few years older than me, he's 45, never married. And I invited a bunch of girls I met from online dating sites to come to this party, right? And I said, there's going to be lots of guys there, but my guy's the eligible bachelor. Yeah. And 3 women turned to me and they said, oh, so he's not married, right? And one of them said, I'd never date a man. I'd date a man who's been divorced and cheated on his wife over a man who's never been married.
Wow.
And I was like, what? And she goes, yeah, because at least that guy shows he can make a commitment.
Unbelievable. Okay.
On some level, women see a man has been divorced as at least he made a commitment, and all that notion about men being commitment phobes. So if you're in your late 30s, your early 40s, and you're never married, versus you guys that have been divorced, you're going to seem like a greater catch.
Interesting.
I swear to God, it's psychological, but it works.
now all the guys out there who are watching this and not divorced are like, okay, now I need to get married, get divorced. You know,
No,
step
please,
one, step two.
please don't do that.
Okay, so basically what you're saying at this point is if you are divorced,
Yeah.
you shouldn't feel so bad or be afraid of going out there and dating again and having to admit to someone that you've been divorced.
No,
like,
there's no shame around. Maybe that was that way 50 years ago, but like I said, it's almost like a badge of honor these days, you know? And I know dating for me was, I also wanted to date women. You know, okay, so guys, just real quickly, I'm divorced and I had 2 children. So my kids are grown now, but they were much younger when I was divorced. And when I was dating, I was actually looking to date other women who were divorced with children. Because I felt like they could get me.
Yeah.
There's right off the bat,
automatic connection there.
Yeah, there's a camaraderie there.
Yeah.
So, and whether that was really the right strategy or not, per se, it was just something I felt comfortable with.
Okay.
And also, I was at a point where I knew I didn't want to have any more children. So there is kind of this, you know, dating a woman who's been never married, no children, was going to be, you know, if I start to get into a relationship, they're going to want children. I knew I didn't want to go that route.
Right.
So there's a benefit to dating a woman who's divorced with children.
So it sounds like it's kind of a win-win.
It can be.
You're either going to be dating a woman who's divorced,
Yeah.
and you guys already have that connection because you both get
Yeah.
it and you've been through the same
Yeah.
troubles. Or you're with someone who isn't divorced, and well, it's fine anyways because at least you've shown that you can commit.
Exactly.
Okay.
And what's interesting is there's kind of this difference between men who are separated versus men who are divorced. Okay, because separated still, that could mean you might get back together with your wife.
Okay.
Or it might mean you're just going through the actual mechanics of a divorce. So for those of you guys that are separated, women actually now look at that as being kind of a question mark, if you will.
Well, yeah, because you're not officially divorced, which means you could technically get back together.
Yeah.
I mean, you could anyways, but still, it doesn't feel like there's like an official stamp on it
Exactly.
that you guys are done.
Yeah.
So
women actually look kind of negatively to men who are separated.
okay. So do you think that a guy who's watching this who's separated should still date? I mean, it feels like it's not a good idea because, well, it depends on the separation. I guess they're separated and they're about to get a divorce.
You know, here's the thing about dating. You know, much of dating is, in today's world, much of dating is really learning about yourself, what you like and what you don't like. I mean, that's what dating is about, is getting a sense of another person. But the benefit you gain is you get to learn about what you like and what you don't like. And I know guys who are watching this, you've gone out with a bunch of women. Some of them were not right for you. But if you paid attention as to why they weren't right for you, you learned about the woman who is right for you. So that's what dating is really about.
Yeah,
So-
but what about the people who've done that and then got married and then got a divorce?
Well, divorce, you have to kind of start over again, too. You're starting off at a different set point in your life.
Yeah.
So it makes sense to date. Now, does that mean you should date the minute you moved out of the house? You know, I'm not here to tell you what you should or shouldn't do. I will tell you as a coach for women, and this is my specialty, I tell women, stay away from guys who have been divorced for less than 2 years because they're usually not emotionally ready.
Okay.
That's what I tell my clients.
Right.
Now, that's not a hard, set, fast rule, but a rule of thumb. And most of you guys won't be ready, but that's not for me to say here or there, whether or not you should go out and date and meet people and make connections. Just do one thing. Be honest with yourself or be honest with someone else.
But I bet also a lot of those guys that you're talking about, you're saying to the women they shouldn't be dating guys who have been divorced less than 2 years.
Yeah.
But probably majority of those guys are not doing the advice that you gave earlier, which is working on themselves, going through personal development, going to therapy, doing retreats, reading books, watching YouTube videos, etc., etc. So I bet you...
I did none of that.
You didn't know that.
By the way,
You
can I
did
tell
that
you a quick
years
story? I want to tell you guys a quick story.
All right, let's hear it.
I'll never forget, I'd been online dating for 5 months, and this fantastic, gorgeous girl emails me. And she says, how long you been divorced? Because on my my dating profile it said divorced. And I said, well, I'm actually not divorced. I'm separated. And she goes, well, how long you been separated? I go, 5 months. And she writes me back. She goes, reach out to me when you've been divorced for 18 to 24 months and you've had 1 or 2 transition relationships.
Okay.
And I'm like, well, why? She goes, you're not ready for a relationship. I go, no, I'm ready. I'm so ready. I was unhappy in my marriage, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Sure enough, 3 months later, okay, so this girl doesn't go out with me. 3 months later, I meet a fantastic gal. I mean, I really liked her. I liked her a lot. and we started dating. We had a good time, and about 3 months into the relationship, that was as far as I could go emotionally.
But what do you
I
mean?
pulled away because it was too much responsibility. I wasn't ready for a relationship.
Right.
And that girl who said you're not ready was right.
Yeah, she was right.
And I had to have 1 or 2 transition girlfriends.
Right.
So on some level, and then I had to be honest with myself and tell that to women. I go, I really don't know where I stand. I know I'm willing to give it a shot, but I can't make you any promises.
Right.
And that can be unattractive to women, because they want to hear that a guy knows what he wants. But the reality is, for those watching, divorce you don't know. And so
It takes a little bit of time.
It takes a little time.
Yeah.
So check in with yourself always, and at least do your best to be in integrity.
Okay, cool. Okay, let's transition. This is a good time to go into, okay, now let's say the guy is ready. Or he's not really taking the advice from this and he's just like, yeah, whatever, I want to date. I want to date now. So whatever. Whether you're going to wait, work on yourself, heal some things, or you're not, let's give some advice to the guys of, okay, now you want to date. Like, what's step one here? Like, what do you do? Like, where do you meet women? What's the best place?
Isn't that what you talk about all the time in your work?
But we need a different... we need I've never been divorced, so...
Well, you know what? I got to tell you, online dating is like my number one place to meet new people and make new friends, especially for those in the over 40 category, because 50% of all new relationships are happening with an online connection. And that might be starting to be even more true in your age demographic. Whether it's an online dating site like a Match.com or a OkCupid or something like that, or a Bumble or a Tinder, or for me, one of the best places to meet new people was Facebook.
Interesting.
I love making...
What was that? Just reconnecting with people?
Well, it starts off with your circle of friends that's on Facebook.
Yeah.
But then when you see like your friend, like my friend Max, knows this other girl named Tammy, kind of thing. I'm like, wow, she's kind of cute. So I, instant message Max and say what's going on with her. And he tells me a little story. And I see that she posted on your page and we start interacting and we start liking. She becomes a friend. And we just, once you get that little bit of interaction going...
Yeah.
And I don't know if you talk about Facebook interacting.
Actually, I do. I have a video on that, so if you want to check that out. How to pick up girls on Facebook.
I got to tell you, Facebook is where everybody is at.
Yeah.
So, but
well,
it
now
starts
all the
off,
kids are on Snapchat.
But it's more innocent because it starts off, actually, you make a better connection with someone that you connect with on Facebook because it's not coming with that pressure of an expectation.
And it's a little bit safer because they can see your profile, they see what you're all about, they feel like they know you a little bit better.
In fact, for those guys, I want to say something to you about Facebook in general. Facebook is like your own personal National Enquirer.
Yeah.
In other words, what you put on there, the world sees. So you have a chance to put on your best front foot forward, so to speak.
Okay.
So, and really think about that for a second, because if you're, especially for like a woman, I have my clients look at a man's, Facebook page, and if it's wild party shots and it's always a bunch of strippers and hookers and that sort of thing, you know what? That's probably not the kind of guy you want to be dating. So what I want to say to you is you may want to limit, to only your close personal friends who see some of that more intimate stuff in your general Facebook page. Think about it like think about it from like a job perspective.
Like
you wouldn't want you wouldn't want your employer to see those things. So save those intimate things for your friends that you can like hit your privacy. But what happens with Facebook, if you start meeting and connecting with women, you build up a slight little bit of friendship, and that's called know, like, and trust. Mm-hmm. They know you, they like you, and they trust you. So right off the bat, if you ever do see them face to face, you've already got a built-in connection. Yeah. You don't have to go through that awkward phase of getting to know one another like you do if you meet someone at a bar or some other outside venue.
So parallel to that, what I like to do for dates, if I meet a girl online or on an app, what I like to do is get them on the phone before the first date. Yeah. So what I say, this is my little coined term, I say, don't have a deaf date.
Yeah,
right.
Deaf date.
Blind date, deaf date, right? Okay. Don't go into the deaf date. Again, this is specifically to online dating.
Okay, and let me just say this. I always say the first date is the telephone call. That telephone call is the first date.
Right.
Because I got to tell you, I've made connections with women over the phone so that when we met in person,
the attraction was
there. I mean, especially if you start going really Guys, I don't want to say this on camera because my kids might watch.
Why? Only tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of people might see this.
I got to tell you, if you meet someone online and you can get straight to phone sex, there's a good chance it's going to be on, when you see such. But I'm just kidding a little. Well, that's true. But
no,
I'm
he's
just
not.
saying.
He's not kidding at all. But anyways, yeah, getting on the phone is a great way to kind of build that pre-attraction and make it more comfortable.
And by the way, since I mentioned phone sex, here's the thing. Don't go in with that intent because that's going to turn a woman off right away.
Yeah.
I'm just, what I'm suggesting is if you spent some time on the phone, you built rapport, it was friendly, it was, very back and forth, a lot of what I call me toos. You like 80s music? Me too. You like sushi? Me too. You do these lots of me toos. That builds rapport, and that builds that trust.
See, I always found that is a little bit, well, I don't know. It depends if we're talking about meeting a girl at the very first moment. Like if you're at a bar, you meet a girl, and you do the me too. It's a little bit needy. It's like, oh, you're just trying to agree with her. You know what I mean? I feel like that's not...
No, it's asking her what she likes, and you can either say me too, or you share something what you like, and she goes, oh, me too. In other words, it's not... Look, I'm not suggesting you force it on. It's a natural conversation. But when you find out your similarities, you feel safer with one another.
Yeah, I guess it would be this. Don't lie. You know what I mean? Like, don't just say me too, because I don't want guys to think that they need to agree with the girl and like all the things that she likes in order to get attraction. I can see a guy right now watching and be like, oh, I'm just going to say me too. So
no. Because that's inauthentic, and I think that goes against everything Tripp talks about is being your authentic self. Always be your authentic self, and quite frankly, if it's something you don't like, speak up. Just... And I
think even too, if there's something that you don't like, and you're like, if she's like, I don't know, just say something that you like.
Well, I like sushi, for example.
So I'm like, oh, I hate sushi. Sushi's the worst. How could you eat that stuff?
Well, you know what's so funny?
I always think that can almost build more attraction because you're not just being so agreeable.
I totally agree. But you know what's so funny? Sushi is deal breaker. Yeah, I know, but sushi is a deal breaker for people. I don't know why. And
it's a deal breaker for me.
Yeah, I know.
Well, the girl, I love sushi. She's like sushi. Like we're not gonna.
Yeah, it's like saying you don't like alcohol or something, or like you don't like sex.
Exactly.
And I'm just joking, but it's funny, and it's not about sushi. It could be about anything. And you're right. So it is stand in your truth. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
Where were we going with this?
Okay.
Oh, telephone call. So again, the telephone call is the first date. It's building rapport. It's a way to really connect so that when you do meet, it feels safer. You actually can give each other a hug. In other words, you feel comfortable enough to give each other a hug. If you can start off with a hug with a woman, you're just meeting for the first time.
I always say on the first date, no matter what, always start with a hug.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, because if you guys have agreed to go on a date,
yeah,
then I don't think that's weird. You know what I mean? And also, you're starting off the relationship already touching, so you're already kind of like saying to her, like, listen, I'm a touchy-feely guy, and I am not looking for this to be a friendship. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You do that again? Okay.
I'm a touchy-feely guy, too. And actually, it tells you a lot about a woman, because if she pulls back or something like that, it gives you a little insight into who she is. But
sure, and how comfortable she is. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So I want to add something, too, because you said, he's really big on online dating. You're also dealing with a lot of women who are older, and it's just a lot easier. Even for guys, it is easier to meet people online when you're, I don't know, over 40. But I want to push my agenda still on the importance of doing what's called cold approach. The stuff that I teach, right? I teach guys, which is going out during the day or going out to even bars or lounges or wherever the girls are that you want to attract and going up and talking to them. Because again, I don't know how old you are who you're watching this. You could be 25 and divorced. You could be 60 and divorced. Yeah. And so I think there's all different ranges and ways to meet women, and I don't want solely for you to focus on online dating. My thing is this. I always tell guys, you should be doing everything. Yeah,
online dating is just one spoke in the wheel, whether it's a Bumble or Tinder or a Match.com
the apps,
or Facebook. Those are all a spoke in the wheel, and certainly organically or outside, if you will, meeting
cold
people.
Approach.
Is that what you call a cold
Yeah,
approach?
because it's cold. You don't know them yet.
True, because and here's the challenge. You have to recognize that everybody you meet that's cold is a stranger.
Right.
They don't know you, and we've already have a built-in rejection of strangers because as children we were told, don't talk to strangers.
Yeah.
So we have to, and I love that you teach that, just that bridge of getting over that place of cold into a little bit of lukewarm.
Yeah.
Because if you can start from that place of lukewarm, great. And whether it's, I got to tell you, I met as many women out in nightclubs and restaurants and that sort of thing as I did online dating.
Yeah.
And
Women are everywhere. I mean, online,
Yeah.
offline, it doesn't matter. And there's so many women who are online who are not offline, and vice versa. So you're getting a bigger pool.
So here's one thing, going back to divorce. So let's say, you see, here's the thing. Oh God, I'm talking so fast right now. I'm excited about this thing.
Okay, focus.
Talking about your divorce can actually bring you closer to someone who's already divorced. Because remember I talked about camaraderie. Here's a game killer though. If you talk negatively about your ex-spouse. If you make it out to be her fault, if you make it out to be, blaming her, demonizing her, what happens is you look like a victim. Now, to some cases, a woman might find that attractive on some level, but truly on a subconscious level, she won't, because she's like, oh, it was all his ex-wife's fault. He must be an angel. But the truth is, to the guy that takes ownership to what happened in the marriage and takes at least a 50% ownership of what happened with the divorce, I should say, he's going to look like a real stand-up guy.
Even if she cheated?
Even if she cheated and just go, you know what, I took part of it, I neglected her. Like if she cheated, but he says, you know what, I have to take some responsibility. I neglected my wife and I'll never do that again. Bam, you gain such solid credibility with that woman. She's like, wow, that's a stand-up guy because he didn't point the finger at her. He took at least some responsibility.
Right. I mean, it's just more mature.
Yeah, and that's instant attraction.
Yeah.
Women will be gravitating towards you if you own your part. I'm not saying you have to take 100% responsibility, but take 50% and you're going to look so much more attractive.
Yeah, you're the bigger guy in the situation.
Yeah.
I like that. All right, let's talk about this. Let's talk about kids. And I want to talk about this last because I know that there's some guys out there that don't have kids and have not had kids when they got the divorce. But again, if you're not divorced, you're still watching this, stay tuned because you might get divorced and have kids, and now you'll know what to do because you had kids and you got divorced. So I don't know, talk about that a little bit. Like, were there any struggles in terms? Again, we're talking about dating, so.
You know what? I'm going to speak to those guys out there, their fathers, for 1 second. The worst thing I did in my divorce was I abandoned my children to some degree for chasing pussy. Excuse me, I'm bluntly saying that. Many times I put my kids aside so I could chase girls. Mm-hmm. And that was so not cool. Okay? That just wasn't cool for them. And I mean, since then I'm very loving towards my kids and I learned my lesson. But please, whatever you do, really make sure that if you have children, you're going through a divorce and you're dating, that you give them a fair amount of your time because it's just not cool for them. Yeah. But kids were also a great way to meet women. Okay. There was the soccer field, where everybody else, all the other divorcees, and I got to tell you, they were dropping like flies.
What do you mean?
When I was getting divorced, the divorce was just starting to happen with everybody in my community.
Because you were at that age.
Yeah.
You were what, 42?
I was 40 years old, 41. Okay. And I got to tell you a quick story. I was dropping off my son at school. And I see him say hi to his best friend, and his best friend was with his mom. And I'm like, hey, Colin, what's the story between, what's the story with her? And he goes, oh, they're divorced. And I go, great. So I start interacting with this divorced mom. But unfortunately, when I got home, the next day I get a phone call from my ex-wife. She goes, I heard you were flirting with so-and-so. She goes, don't bother. I already told her what an asshole you are.
Oh my God.
I got cock-blocked by my ex-wife. So be careful where you flirt. But I got to tell you that my kids were a great way to meet women. Chuck E. Cheese was a great place. Okay. I mean, the soccer field out in public, because it's like almost like taking puppies out. They bring you this instant credibility that you're a good guy.
And you're killing two birds with one stone. You get to spend time with your kids, do a little flirting. Hopefully your ex-wife doesn't find out about it.
But anytime I was out, you can almost bet that if a woman was out with her kids, there was a good chance she was divorced. And divorced women and from a dating perspective, even if you guys are single out looking, they're thirsty to be in a relationship.
Yeah.
Divorced women are a hot commodity.
Because they've been lonely for a long time. It's not like they
can be.
just started being lonely because they're divorced.
Yeah.
I'm sure there was a lot of problems going on
Yeah.
before the divorce, and
Yeah.
so they're feeling pretty alone.
Yeah.
So you're saying to take advantage of lonely
They are
women.
prime
Good advice,
targets.
Jonathan.
Well, I know your community, and they want all the best advice they can get, so we're doing our best here.
I love it. This was really good. I know we only have a couple minutes left. Maybe you want to say anything else, anything to the guy who's divorced right now, what he's going through, any other kind of messages to them. But I think this is really helpful.
I just want to say, you know what? Do that investment in your inner work. As I told you in my personal journey, I went on 100 internet dates, and it wasn't fair to the women. I wasn't ready for it, and do some work before you go out there. Whether it's reading a really good book about personal growth, or like I said, following Tony Robbins or Wayne Dyer, just to name a few. I mean, there's tons out there that's really good. This is advice good for anybody, but the more authentic and stronger you are, the more attractive you are to women. I promise you, it makes a big difference.
Yeah, I love it. Awesome. Jonathan, thank you so much. I mean, I know you coach women, so there's not much for these guys to work with you.
But if your guys get value from it, I'm happy for you, my friend.
Okay, well, good. Well, thanks for being here. And yeah, like this if it helped you, and if you made it this far in the video, write down below, say thanks to Jonathan. You know, if you guys write a good question in there, I'll go in, I'll try to answer it. I'll try to get Jonathan to answer it.
I'll do that.
So go ahead, write a comment down below, subscribe to the channel, because you're going to need more advice on how to meet girls now that you are single. So thank you. Talk to you soon.